It is running slow, and so.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Chair calls David Stout. We show you registered as David Stout, testifying on behalf of yourself and El Paso County Precinct 2, and you're against the bill. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. Chair and committee members, again, David Stout against this bill. Thank you for your time and attention. The reason that I'm here to testify against this bill is that SB4 is a law that the County of El Paso has taken to court and has been stayed in federal court after many appeals for likely violations of the Supremacy Clause, for being unconstitutional, and just adding new offenses to an already unconstitutional law do not keep the law from being unconstitutional, especially when the new bill doesn't address any of the constitutional concerns and does not align with federal law. I think that the main reason that we're worried about this, as well as SB4, has to do with the costs on counties and our county jails. And when you create more state offenses and send those folks to our county jails, it floods our jails. It costs a lot of money, and in El Paso County, our jails are pretty much at full capacity, operational capacity. I also want to say that, why are we already adding to an already draconian immigration regime? Immigrants, whether they're here with authorization or not, they commit crime in a lesser proportion than native-born U.S. residents. They're entrepreneurial. The majority of studies on these questions show that they create more value economically than they use in public resources. Our economy is driven by immigrants. But those are transactional analyses. To me, more importantly, our DNA is that of a nation of immigrants, and Texas has one of the largest immigrant populations in the country. Our goal is to be supportive of more legal pathways and to assist immigrants in becoming Americans. Instead, our legal pathways are outdated and inefficient, and we are targeting all immigrants, whether they have some form of authorization or not, whether they have a criminal record or not. And I implore this legislature to stop trying to find new ways to criminalize immigrants, burning local taxpayers, and please do the right thing. Please vote against this bill. Thank you.
I don't believe we're trying to criminalize immigrants. We're trying to criminalize illegal immigrants, just to be clear. But members, any questions? Representative Louderback. Oh, you want to go to McLaughlin? Go ahead.
I'd have to echo Chairman Hefner there. None of us up here, I think any of us, are against immigration. But there's a right way to do immigration and a wrong way to do immigration. And what this bill, to me, is doing is punishing those that come over here illegally and create criminal acts in our state. But I don't think anybody up here is. Our country was formed on immigrants. None of us are against immigration.
Yeah, I agree with some of the statements that were made before that this is a federal issue, that the state shouldn't be getting involved in immigration. Maybe we should be advocating with the federal government to create more legal pathways so that we don't have so many undocumented immigrants. I believe that the vast majority of folks that want to come to this country would like to do it in a legal fashion, and this country, unfortunately, does not allow that to happen. And so, deterrence and enforcement-only policies like these don't work. They haven't proven to work.
Representative Louderback.
Commissioner Stout, you brought up a matter of finance here. So can you imagine a state where simply because we fill up a jail, that because it's too expensive, that we can't provide law and order? Is that the kind of state you want to live in?
Well, I'd be happy if the state legislature would amend this bill to include funding for counties to house those inmates. That would be a step in the right direction. But I do have to come and advocate on behalf of my taxpayers, because 70% of our budget already goes to state unfunded mandates, and it's gone up by close to $40 million over the last 3 or 4 years because of Operation Lone Star, and that's just jailing of migrants.
Well, that's a problem in the last 4 years, the administration. So they invited these people in. So but the whole aspect of what you brought up is it's just too expensive for El Paso County to afford this. So what does your sheriff say about that? What are the citizens going to say about that? Does it just cost too much, so we just can't arrest people now?
Well, I mean, I think the federal government can do that, right? Why do we
What
need
if
to
they
have the
don't?
state government
What if they
putting
don't?
state inmates in our jail when the federal government can do that, and the
I
federal
think the
government pays
Constitution
us
says
for
we
those
can take care of
inmates?
ourselves.
federal government reimburses us for those inmates.
Thank you.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for being here, Commissioner Stout.
Thank you.
The United States has multiple legal pathways to come to this country. The problem is, it's not happening, and they're not following the laws, even the people who overstay their visas, which is a lot of the illegals who are in the country right now. But I want to go back, because you went very quickly, so I want to make sure that I heard you correctly on the economics of this. Would you mind giving me your stats again?
Yeah,
On the
so,
contributions?
Close to 70% of El Paso County's budget is an unfunded mandate, and close to $40 million more in the last number of years with Operation Lone Star have been added to our budget, and our local taxpayers are paying for that.
No, I'm asking about your you said the contributions.
Yeah, the contributions.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you look at any credible study about immigrants, it will show that immigrants actually.
But we're talking about
bring
illegal
more
immigrants here.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of immigrant they are. They pay taxes. Unless they're living in a tent under a bridge somewhere, they're living in a house or an apartment, they're paying property tax, whether it's directly or indirectly. If they're consuming anything, they're paying taxes. And most of the time, they don't receive services for the taxes that they're paying as well.
So do you have the numbers on how much we're paying to educate the children, or the health care costs that we're covering, or any of the social services that they are receiving that many Americans aren't receiving? Do you have those numbers on
We
you?
can certainly, I don't have them off the top of my head, but we can certainly send you studies that have proven that immigrants pay more into the system than they take out.
Well, we're talking about illegal immigrants here.
Well, I mean, I'm not differentiating between the two, but it's the
But
same.
that's what this bill, this bill is focused
yeah,
on people who are in
Sure,
the country
but
illegally.
undocumented immigrants are immigrants as well. So I would say that that's a general statement that includes undocumented immigrants.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate your testimony.
Thank you
for
very
being here,
much. Thank you
Commissioner.
for your time.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak on, for, or against House Bill 1832?